As the fear on Omicron is spreading across the country, there are hospitals across the state of Karnataka which is getting ready for either third wave or the spread of Omicron. And we are at Atal Bihari Vajpayee Hospital here in Bengaluru, where Karnataka government along with ICMR has given an approval to set up a genomic sequence lab. And we are inside the lab where the setup will be happening in the near future, and the genomic sequence will be done by the microbiology department. And this particular lab will be getting a precise report what kind of genomic sequence the RC-PCR samples will be having. We are joined with doctor and professor of microbiology department of Atal Bihari Vajpayee Hospital. Thank you so much for talking to Republic TV, ma'am. Ma'am, this is a negative pressure room. Here you will be setting up genomic sequencing of the hospital. How is the setup going to happen and when it will be starting the operation?
Actually, the team was formed somewhere in June, where the team came up with, headed by Dr. Ravi sir, came up with a thing saying that sequencing is much needed in the next part of the pandemic. And we are also thankful to the state government because ICMR has not approved all genomic sequencing labs, and it gave up to the state governments to take up the initiative. And our government has actually come up with 4 medical colleges and 2 district hospitals where they are setting up a genomic sequencing lab at all these 6 centers. The lab is fully done, and the instruments are also supplied already. We are just waiting for the demo of instruments, the training part which is already started, and manpower. With this, I think we can start with the sequencing process.
Ma'am, if you notice that there are several varied mutants of virus has been found, including Omicron, and how this particular lab is going to help us to find out various mutant of virus, ma'am?
Actually, the guidelines are still not out. Now, once we have the guidelines from the ICMR, we will know. Right now, what we are doing is, because of this third wave, because of this new variant that has come up to us, all the positives, because now right now the positivity rate is very low, and now it's picking up. So all the positives, we want to actually find out the sequencing of that. So we are referring all the positives, or if there is any vaccine breakthroughs, or any repeated severe illness, because now right now Bowring is the only hospital taking up COVID patients. So patients admitted in Bowring, if they are turning out to be positive or if they are severely ill, those samples are all sent for genomic sequencing to NCBS lab. Now the data is not revealed to us. That is kept only with the government because I think they want to prevent the panic among the people. Now with the, right now I don't have guidelines to tell you how we will be functioning. The guidelines will actually be done by the committee and the ministers. So once the administrators tell us how to go about, we will be starting with this.
In the layman terms for a general public, tell us that how it is going to help the public as well as the doctors.
Definitely now, right now the need of the hour will be sequencing, because all these days what was happening was you detect the positive, test, where you test, trace, and then you identify the positive, isolate them. But right now you're having new variants, you also have people who are vaccinated. Now, when this new variant, we don't know the effect of vaccination with the new variant, that is still awaited. So we don't know how many of them will turn out to be positive. Now, the point is you will have to identify the person who is having this variant. Now that can happen with a genome sequencing lab. So the early you identify the variant, the person with the variant, you isolate him, then you prevent him, because this variant is known to have a very high transmissibility rate. It's even worse than the alpha, the delta variant. So then if you can isolate him very early and prevent him from coming in contact with the others, transmission in the community will be reduced. So sequencing is the need of the hour.